roof of the world does not howl. It screams. It is the sound of 1,000 souls trapped in the ice. A constant, maddening chorus that greets anyone foolish enough to march upon Angrathar the Wrathgate. Look upon it, that wall of black serenite drinking the light of the pale sun. It stands not merely as a fortification of the scourge, but as a monument to inevitability. To the living, it was an obstacle to be breached. To the dead, it was simply the threshold. And gathered before it, see the ants in their gleaming shells. The Alliance, the Horde. For a brief, blinding moment, they were magnificent. Do you feel the ground tremble? That is the march of the 7th Legion, the elite, the chosen, led by Highlord Bolvar Fordregan. His armor radiates the golden warmth of Stormwind, a beacon of the holy light that promised protection against the dark. Beside them, the Warsong Offensive, the roaring sons and daughters of Orgrimmar, led by Dranosh Sarfang the Younger. 2 armies forged in the fires of mutual hatred, now cooled by the freezing winds of Northrend into a singular tempered blade. They believed in the old laws. They believed that if you stand tall, if you strike true, and if your cause is just, victory is the reward. Witness their formation, perfect lines, shields locked, the steam rising from their breath mixing with the mist, creating a fog of war that smelled of oil, sweat, and righteous fury. They looked up at that obsidian gate and saw a challenge. They did not see the trap. They did not understand that in the shadow of the frozen throne, valor is not a currency, it is a weakness. They brought swords to a slaughterhouse. They brought honor to a place where the only law is entropy, the silence before the charge. It is the heaviest sound in the world. It is the deep breath taken by a condemned man before the axe falls. History is often written as a collision of armies, but the tragedies that scar the soul are forged by individuals. Here, at the foot of the Citadel, we witness the last gasp of the Romantic era of warfare. Focus on the Paladin, Highlord Bolvar Fordregan. He is the archetype of the good man. In a world of grays, he is unapologetically gold. Look at his face as he gazes up at the impossible height of the gate. There is no fear, only a grim determination. He believes that the light is a transactional force, that if he offers his faith, it will return protection. He shouts his challenge to the dark, his voice cracking the frozen air. Come forth, coward. It is brave. It is inspiring. And in the face of what is to come, it is utterly naive. Beside him stands the future of the Horde, Dranosh Sarfang, the Younger. He bears the weight of a legendary name, a legacy of blood that he seeks to redeem. He is not a savage, he is a warrior poet in plate and mail. Observe the glance shared between the orc and the human. A nod, a darkly humorous exchange about who scares the undead more. In this moment, the divide between Alliance and Horde has dissolved. They are brothers in arms, united by a singular noble purpose. They are the protagonists of a heroic epic, convinced that their story ends with a banner planted atop the ice-crowned citadel. But the universe has a cruel sense of irony. The ground shudders. The massive chains of Angrathar groan, the sound of metal screaming in agony. The gate opens. Emerging from the shadow is the Lich King. He does not march, he drifts. A specter of heavy plate and freezing mist, Arthas Menethil, the fallen prince. He looks down at these heroes not with hatred, but with boredom. To him, Bolvar and Dranosh are not champions. They are raw materials. He speaks, and his voice is the sound of cracking ice. He taunts them, not to anger them, but to lure them. And the trap springs. Not a trap of strategy, but a trap of character. Dranosh, driven by the fiery impulse of his blood, cannot wait. He charges. For the Horde, the cry is pure, the charge is magnificent. But look at the Lich King's movement. It is effortless. A single swing of Frostmourne. The blade that drank a kingdom's soul now drinks the son of Sarfang. One blow. The shattering of Dranosh's axe is the sound of honor breaking. His body falls, limp, insignificant against the snow. The hero is gone in a heartbeat. Bolvar screams. He rallies his men. The paladins flare their wings of light. The soldiers brace. They prepare for the raid boss, for the duel of the century. They prepare for the fight they were promised. But they were looking at the wrong enemy. Shift your gaze, look up. High upon the cliffs overlooking the gate. The anomaly. The glitch in the narrative. Grand Apothecary Putris. He stands silhouetted against the gray sky. A ragged, hunchbacked figure in a gas mask. He does not hold a sword. He holds the outcome of the war in a fragile glass vial. He is not here for honor. He is not here for territory. He represents a new, terrifying truth. That hatred, distilled long enough, becomes distinct from morality. While Arthas plays the role of the Dark Lord and Bolvar plays the role of the Knight. Putris is the nihilist who has come to burn the theater down. He looks down at the armies, living and dead alike, and sees no difference. To him, they are all just meat waiting to rot. He raises his hand. The catapults are loaded, not with rocks, not with fire, but with the tears of the Forsaken. Did you think we had forgotten? Did you think we had forgiven? The voice amplifies, echoing off the ice walls like a distortion in the fabric of the world. It is not a battle cry. It is a sentence passed down by a judge who has gone mad. Grand Apothecary. Putris screams his truth to the heavens. Death to the scourge, and death to the living. Watch the catapults snap. It happens in slow motion. The wooden arms release their payload. Hundreds of barrels arcing through the gray sky. They look innocuous at first. Wooden casts, tumbling end over end. They do not whistle like arrows or roar like mortars. They simply fall, heavy and dull. The first barrel shatters against the frozen earth between the front lines. There is no explosion of fire. There is no shockwave. There is just a wet, sickening thud. And then, the hiss. A cloud expands. It is not the gray of smoke, nor the white of steam. It is a virulently unnatural green, a color that does not belong in nature. It glows with a radioactive sickness, heavy and oily, clinging to the ground like a predator. The soldiers in the front lines pause. The shield wall lowers, just an inch. Confusion ripples through the ranks. Is this a spell? A blessing? A curse? For a heartbeat, the war stops. Even the mindless ghouls of the Scourge hesitate, their primitive instincts recoiling from a scent that promises an end absolute. Then, the screaming begins. It starts not as a roar of pain, but as a gurgle. The gas rolls over the front ranks of the Alliance. Watch the armor of the 7th Legion. That gleaming, tempered steel, blessed by priests and forged by masters. The gas touches it, and the metal begins to hiss. It bubbles. The gold tarnishes instantly to a corroded brown. This is the new plague, the culmination of years of sadistic alchemy in the damp cellars of the Undercity. It was not designed merely to kill. It was designed to liquefy. A foot soldier clutches his throat. He tries to breathe, but the air itself has become acid. He coughs, and pieces of his own lining spill out onto the snow. The plague finds the gaps in the plate, the seams in the mail. It does not care about your rank. It does not care about your crest. It seeps into the skin, boiling the blood in the veins. Bolvar Dragon turns, his face a mask of dawning horror. The light surrounds him, a desperate aura of golden protection. He calls out to his men, "Fall back!" But there is nowhere to go. The gas is everywhere. It rains from the sky as more barrels shatter. The paladin's aura flickers. The holy light, the cosmic force of creation, struggles against this man-made abomination. And for the first time in history, we see the light fail. It does not retreat. It is suffocated. The green mist swallows the gold. Bolvar falls to one knee, coughing. The sound is wet. His skin, once flushed with vitality, begins to char and blacken while he still lives. "We are betrayed," he wheezes. The realization hurts more than the poison. The betrayal is total. Look to the Scourge. The weapon does not discriminate. The undead, who feel no pain, who fear no weapon, begin to dissolve. Their stitched flesh sloughs off their bones. The skeletons crumble into dust. The plague eats the magic that binds them. And the Lich King, Arthas. He stands amidst the swirling toxicity. He who commands the power of death is suddenly vulnerable. He coughs, a sound of genuine shock. He looks at his gauntlet, seeing the serenite plate pitting and smoking. He looks up at Putris, and for a fleeting second the Lord of the Dead looks small. He realizes he has been outplayed. Not by a greater warrior, but by a chemist without a conscience. He turns. The Lich King retreats. He walks back into the shadow of the gate, the heavy doors sealing him away. He leaves his army to melt. He leaves the living to rot. The battlefield is no longer a place of combat. It is a soup of biological waste. The banners of Stormwind and Orgrimmar lie in the mud. dissolving into the same unrecognizable sludge.
There is still hope.
An orc reaches out to a human for help, but his hand melts into the other's arm. In death, they finally become one, united in the grotesque equality of the plague. The noise of battle, the clash of steel, the war cries, is gone, replaced by a terrifying simmering silence, broken only by the hiss of gas and the weeping of men whose vocal cords have dissolved. This is the end of the age of heroes. Honor did not die by the sword. It choked on its own blood, betrayed by its allies, dissolved in a cloud of green gas. And then, the sky catches fire. Look up! Through the choking green haze, great shadows sweep across the clouds. The roar of wings drowns out the hissing death. The Red Dragonflight has arrived. The Lifebinders... But this is not a rescue. It is a containment. Dragonfire pours from the heavens. It is a terrifying, majestic torrent of crimson flame. It crashes into the green fog, igniting the very air. The reaction is violent. A war between the magic of life and the alchemy of death. The plague burns. The corpses burn. The history of this battle burns. Focus on Bolvar Fordragon one last time. He is on his knees, his body ravaged by the poison, his lungs filled with fluid. He looks up at the descending fire. He does not flinch. Perhaps he welcomes it. The flames wash over him hotter than any forge, but they do not turn him to ash. The Dragonfire interacts with the plague in his veins, a horrific chemical reaction that keeps him suspended on the threshold of oblivion. He screams, a soundless, charred scream, as his flesh is cauterized, sealed within a shell of living magma. He is not saved. He is damned to a fate worse than death. He becomes a monument to this failure, a charred scarecrow left in the wake of the gods. The fires die down. The snow is gone. The ice is black. The Wrathgate stands silent, its metal scarred but unbroken. Nothing remains of the armies. No bodies to bury. No dog tags to collect. Only ash drifting on the wind. The Alliance and the Horde came here to end the Lich King. Instead, they ended their trust in one another. The pact is broken. The dream of a united world has been incinerated by the treachery of the Forsaken. King Varian Rin will hear of this. Thrall will hear of this. And the sadness of this day will curdle into a rage that will shake the foundations of the Undercity itself. The war against the Scourge has changed. It is no longer a crusade for justice. It is now a hunt for vengeance.